Well, hey, everybody, getting ready to record an early episode of Mike in the Midwest for the cruise week. Here we go. Oop, hang on. Hit the wrong button. Here we go. Well, hey, everybody, welcome to episode number 253 of Mike in the Midwest, our mini podcast for the amazing patrons just like you of the Be Our Guest podcast. Of course, my name is Mike Robin, host of the Be Our Guest podcast, which you can find all the places. You know that because you're a patron of the show, which I appreciate so very much. We could not do the Be Our Guest podcast without your support. So thank you so very much for your continued support of the show. I hope you're getting ready for a very happy 4th of July weekend, wherever this finds you. If you're not in the States, just a happy weekend. Recording this one a bit early because, of course, we're headed out for the Be Our Guest podcast cruise this weekend. We're headed down on Saturday. We'll be headed out on the Disney Magic on Sunday, sailing to the Bahamas, Castaway Key, Nassau, Lookout Key at Lighthouse Point. Gonna have a good time. Follow us on the socials at Be Our Guest Mike. We're going to be also trying to stream to our StreamYard locations, YouTube, every place. Instagram will be a different thing. We'll be using Instagram for more of our quick hits. So that is going to be like we just decided to go wild on Instagram, Scott and I. So just make sure you're following at BR Guest Mike on Instagram, but then make sure you're following us on Facebook. So just search for search for BR Guest Podcast on Facebook and like it over there. In YouTube, make sure on YouTube that you're following Be Our Guest Podcast on YouTube. Those are the places to be. Twitch for Mohawk. He follows on Twitch. I know that because he's on YouTube right now. You know all the places though. So I'm going to buy the best internet package, try to stream as much as we can. We're going to be having a good time. So hopefully you can tune in from the ship. We'll have a good time with that. But I'm recording this one early because I want our patrons to have the episode. I don't want to miss out because we will not be here on Sunday when I normally record, so I don't want to shortchange it. So I'm going to throw this one out a bit early so that Sunday you won't have one, but you'll have it here. So save it till Sunday if you want, splurge early, whatever you want to do. Here it is. It's going to be a little shorter too because we're in the middle of a work day right before the holiday and trying to get a lot done. So you guys know how it is, especially before a holiday, because Mohawk, he's in Scotland. It's not a holiday for him tomorrow, but it is here. It's a bank holiday here in the States. And with this one, lots of, we have a lot of friends that we're all going to be vacationing together this time, right? With the podcast cruise, and Scott, my best bud, already there. So I see, I wake up this morning, I hit the treadmill as I do every morning. Thursday is my walk day, but today I decide, well, I know Saturday I'm not going to get to run at all because we have a 7:00 a.m. flight. So we're going to be leaving for the airport at like 4 a.m. So there's no chance of even getting up early to try to get any kind of a run in at all. So Saturday is just totally no exercise day. Blah, I hate that, but it is what it is. So I thought today, well, instead of just having a walk day, I'll try to sneak in a little, like a 10K. I'll just do a 10K, then walk the rest. I'll just get a little bonus miles in. So I do that. When I get done with that and I'm walking, that's when I fiddle around on the iPad and check, the clubhouse on the iPad, and I check social media, stuff like that. That's when I don't post much on the clubhouse, but I'll put the little emojis and stuff. Like I'll put, the fires and the 100% because I'm walking on the treadmill and I can't type very well. But I see, of course, and I go on Find My, because Scott and I always follow each other on Find My, and I see Scott's up and I see that he's at the pool, at the boardwalk. And I'm like, God, man, living his best life. And like last night before I went to bed, I see that he's at Beaches and Cream. I'm like, God, man, living his best life. And like, I haven't even checked into my flight yet. And I mean, I'm happy. Like, I'm super happy for my bud. That's the best. But man, I haven't even checked in for my flight yet. And that's on me, right? I could have gone down, but we have some obligations here. We have a family birthday that we're celebrating for a few family members and Pam's family tomorrow on the 4th of July, having a big party. So that's going to be a lot of fun. So we want to be here for that. Also, Mallory's not going on the cruise, so we don't want to, miss out on the family party with her. So it's, you got to do what you got to do. So it's kind of a balancing act, right? So we're going to do that in 4th of July. I'll be honest, in Missouri is a lot of fun. It's a ton of fun here. It's fun down at Walt Disney World there too. but it's going to be fun here. So we're going to get up early Saturday morning, drive to the airport, get on that bird, and then we'll be down there. Splitsville Saturday afternoon. Hope to see everybody there. Little bowling, some good food, and then we're going to have Scott and I are going to have dinner at Rosa Mexicana. Excited for that. First time eating at that location. So that's always a new experience to talk about on the podcast. And then I think Scott and his family are going to see Phantasmic at the studios that night. Pam doesn't have a ticket. I have an AP, but Pam doesn't have a ticket. So we're just going to go back and just enjoy Boardwalk. We're just going to walk around the boardwalk, probably swim, and call it a night after that and get up early in the morning. I'm going to do a quick run on the treadmill at the boardwalk before we head over to Port Canaveral, get on the boat. So that's kind of the plan. This is that. It's a weird situation because tomorrow's the day before we leave for vacation, but with it being a holiday, it totally throws off the schedule, right? Because tomorrow we're having like I said, this big party at my sister-in-law and brother-in-law's house at 12. And so with it being the 4th of July, right, we're having this party at 12 and we'll be over there until probably the middle of the afternoon. Then we'll probably go back again for the fireworks, or we'll stay there all day. But that's usually the packing day. So this totally it moves everything up, right? So today I got to pack, and I usually don't pack until the last minute. So I've started to pull stuff out. Like I got my captain's hat sitting on the kitchen table so I don't forget it. Yesterday, moment of panic, I could not find the cruise magnets, the magnets that you put on your door. We have a huge collection of the magnets that you put on your cruise door, the metal door, but I couldn't find them. I found like 2, and we have like this whole like manila envelope of maybe 40 or 50 magnets. And we've gotten some cool ones over the years. I got some Mizzou ones, some Mickey ear ones, just so many that I wanted to use. I couldn't find them. Finally, I found them buried in the storage closet. I was like, because I want to decorate the door like everybody else does. So I found those. So crisis averted, but things are piling up now, at least on the kitchen table, but we haven't gotten out the suitcases yet. That'll happen today. Of course, today I got to get the haircut. Got to wait till the last minute to get the haircut. So that's going to happen this evening. And then we'll start packing, I guess, today, because tomorrow is going to go by really quickly. And then, like I said, 4 a.m. we leave for the airport Saturday, then we head down. So that's where we stand on that. And it's going to be here soon. But I won't leave you without a podcast, without a Mike in the Midwest. Just wanted to check in with you guys, see what you're up to. Hope you have a great 4th of July. Looks like in the Midwest, right here in Missouri, the weather's going to be great. I saw like 93 and no rain for Friday. So you can't beat that for a St. Louis 4th of July. So looking good here. Looks like we're going to have a good one. All right. So last week we talked about the anticipation of a cruise, right? It is building up. I mean, right now it is super exciting because now I get to follow people that are getting there. I saw that Tracy from over across the river in Alton, she's down at Walt Disney World, staying at Riverside. She saw Yeehaw Bob. I love our clubhouse because you get to see people that are on their vacations. Paul was just down there posting stuff from Grand Floridian. Man, did he have a mess going home though with JetBlue. Holy cow. I'm glad he made it home safe now. But I think he had a 13.5-hour delay. That was a nightmare. But the thing is, with the clubhouse and the Discord channel, I love how truly that group of the folks who hang out in there have really become a family. We care, we track each other. We really do. And it's one of those, it's really cool. I'm going to talk about that here. I shouldn't be beeping. I thought I killed the notifications, but I guess I didn't. I'm not good at the Discord. We're going to talk about that in the main topic here in a second. Anyway, let's hit the feedback from last week's show real quick, because I didn't want to make this one super long, but I didn't want to leave you out without a show this week before I went down to Florida and out on the cruise. So last week we talked about the anticipation being real. And I also, of course, I go off on tangents on these shows every single week. I talked about the 4th of July and the VP Fair and how my grandpa loved going to the VP Fair down under the arch. Man, my grandpa loved it. And then we talked about the air shows and the fireworks and how back in the day, that was the coolest. Downtown St. Louis used to be so cool when I was a kid, like in the 80s. Trisha says, so I'm near Milwaukee, so air shows are over the lake. I agree. They can be terrifying to watch. Also, when you mentioned the arch, I thought it's an inverted catenary curve. Pays to read signs at the museum exhibits. Can't wait to be able to share little things about Disney cruising that I love. There's going to be so many things you love about Disney cruising. And it's Scott nailed it too on, I think it's the show that comes out tomorrow, I think, on the podcast on Friday. There's one thing about a Disney cruise that and he's exactly right. I think he said it on the show because we have a show for Friday where we kind of walk you through like the morning of your cruise all the way through going to dinner. Because the first day of a cruise is kind of chaotic. It's kind of hectic, but then it slows down at dinner. Like you found like, whew, you sit down at dinner and you've made it. You've made it through the muster drill. You've gotten through the terminal. You've made it through your boarding groups. You've gone through it's chaotic and Cabanas the first lunch. Everybody's in there at the same time. You're trying to find your stateroom. You're waiting for your stateroom to be available. You're worried about your luggage being delivered. There's a lot going on the first, getting to the sail away party. It gets a little crazy, but then once you make it to dinner, you're good and the cruise starts. But we walk you through all that. But one of the things that Scott mentions, because we talked about some of the little things that we really like about cruising, and Scott mentions, he called them background loops, but in the hallways, there's always like soft music playing. And for example, on Pirate Night, the music will change to like background music from Pirates of the Caribbean. And I love that. Like on Pirate Night, you'll just all of a sudden notice that Pirates of the Caribbean music's playing throughout the ship. And like on Castaway Key Day, it's Jimmy Buffett, like like instrumental music of Jimmy Buffett or something. It changes depending on where you are that day, what the theme of the day is. It's so cool. I love that the music matches the theme of the day. There's so many little things you're gonna love. Michael Corbett says, I've been having serious FOMO the past few weeks and have been talking more and more about the podcast cruise. Oh, as we've been talking about the podcast cruise, we had such a good time 2 years ago. We could just not make it work this time because we're going to Japan in October with my daughter and her husband. Would love to come in for a trip report on Tokyo Disneyland when we get back. Would love to hear about that. So let's do that, Michael. For my family, keeping cool in the summer involves sprinklers and hours in the basement. That sounded like mine. The big fan sprinkler in the basement. It wasn't really my basement. My basement wasn't as nice. It was my buddy Ryan's basement across the way. His grandma had all the board games and everything in it. So we were always down there. That was the best place. And the shag carpet. Did everybody's grandma in the 80s have shag carpet? Because they did. Dennis finally says, when you mentioned the Harrier at the VP Fair, the first thing that came to mind was how incredibly loud that plane is. I remember a few visits to the VP Fair. We usually just went for the air show, but I remember it always being impressive. As for cruise anticipation, there is nothing like it. I've checked the DCL app every day since you helped us book our cruise for next spring. I love the countdown clock. I have left the app open for minutes at a time just to watch the numbers click down and see the various Disney characters that show up when one of the digits hits 0. Having a Disney vacation to look forward to really helps pass the work week. I agree with all the little things you mentioned about cruising. Only 2 of my cruises have been out of Port Canaveral, but I really love Sail Away. First, I always record the countdown to the ship's horn when playing When You Wish Upon a Star and the cruise director officially declaring that we are on vacation. I then love grabbing a drink and watching the rest of the sail away. In Vancouver, you have to watch from the deck as the ship sails under the Lionsgate Bridge. In San Diego, taking the aircraft carriers and other Navy ships that are in the harbor. When the ship is pulling away from the dock, that feeling you have you're on vacation really kicks in. You can leave the real world problems behind for a while. Man, Dennis just nailed it. That is it. I'm so excited for Sunday. Sunday, the forecast calls for a pretty decent chance of rain. And so the sailaway could be inside. I don't care. Like, if it rains, it rains. I'm going on vacation. It's going to be awesome. I just can't wait. Like, if it rains and we're sailing away, I'm just going to be on my veranda covered and waving to the Port Canaveral webcam and just see you later. See you, Jetty Park. It's going to be fine. I hope it doesn't rain, but it's real. Like when they play the horn and everybody's got a drink in their hand and everybody's letting the real world kind of go for a while, there's nothing like it. It's the best. And I would love to see the San Diego sail away. Like I would love to see like the Navy ships, like the aircraft. Oh my God, an aircraft carrier. That'd be amazing. I got to do that. I got to do that. All right. So here's the deal. Today's topic, I was thinking about this on treadmill just real quick. And I think sometimes truly we have to take an inventory of how lucky we are. Right. And I was thinking about the Discord, right? I was just talking with Jordan, one of our great friends. He's a lizard. He's in the Discord a lot. You'll see him. And he gave us what was called a boost. And I don't even know what boosts are, but it's like something with Discord where you get, it helps out your Discord to give you some more storage and abilities for your server. Like our server now is able to do different things. He's adding like these little pop century icons, boardwalk icons where you can put things under your posts that look like the resorts. They're really cool. Like there's going to be some new stuff coming to the clubhouse soon because of Jordan adding this. It costs a little bit of money. He donated it and it's awesome. So thank you, Jordan. It's awesome. Was just talking to him right before the show. And I was thinking about this though, prior to this. Why do I like the Discord so much over the last year? Obviously it's the community, right? It's like the reason I didn't like Discord at first is because like it's so small. Like I was like, I prefer Twitter and Facebook and stuff, right? Because I had a lot more followers on Twitter and Facebook, right? Because of the podcast. I had a ton, like thousands and thousands. But then I was like, well, if I go over to Discord, we're gonna have like hundreds and a couple thousand. And that's you always want to have a bigger number. What I found out though is that the community on Discord is way better. Like it's a family. It's way, way better. I love this. And what I realized, what I like about it the most, and this is so wild. I made this connection like not too long ago. The Discord, what it is, it's my BBS from when I was like 10. So I've told you many times that when I was like 10 years old, I ran a BBS, a bulletin board system out of my bedroom on a Commodore 64. And what that was you took your Commodore 64, a couple of disk drives and a modem, and you dedicated that computer to a bulletin board system where people could call in. I had to have a second phone line. If you could, first of all, I ran it on my parents' phone line, just like from 9 p.m. to like 6 a.m. overnight when nobody was using the phone line. And then it got crazy. So then my parents got me a second phone line. So then it was 24 hours on my own phone line. But people would call in. You could only have one person on at a time because you only had one phone line. So they'd call in and then they could leave messages. And like you would call in, like read everybody else's messages, post your message, and then hang up. And then somebody else would call in, read the messages, post their messages, hang up, and that's how it worked. So you take turns using the message boards. And you could also download games, upload games, and stuff like that, and play a few online. It's very simple online games. The best one was Pigskin Pick'em, where during football season you try to pick the winners of the football games and see who picked them best every Sunday. But anyway, what I figured out was that the Discord is almost like my BBS when I was 10. And I love that sucker. It was the biggest one for a while in St. Louis that ran on a Commodore 64, the most popular. We had the most users. We had the most active message base because we kept it. I really did enjoy like changing the graphics, like keeping the message boards going, like keeping the conversation going. And it was a lot of fun in like the mid to late 80s. And the thing was, like, I'd be laying in my bed at night because it was on my desk, and I could tell what people were doing by the sounds of the disk drive spinning. Like it'd be and I could tell, oh, are they downloading something? Are they posting messages? Are they reading messages? Like I could tell by the sounds the disk drives made because it was so, it just became, it happened all the time. And so now I have the notifications on my phone. And so obviously, like when I'm driving around in my car and we have music playing in the Jeep, you hear boop, 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 just it's a real quick little sound. I don't know if you have the notifications on with yours, but Pam will be like, wow, there's a lot, something's happening. I'm like, I know, like something must be happening. Either two things are happening. Either something big happened in sports, like when the Masters is going on, or usually some big sporting event in real time's happening, and if everybody's hanging out in the Sports Center channel, or something big happened with Disney, like, I don't know, so in the parks. And so people are in a channel, like locked in, talking in real time. And I love that because it takes me back to the days like, oh my gosh, like I got to get on there and see what's going on because everybody's talking in real time. And I love that because it takes me back to my BBS days. Because what it is, it's one word, it's community, right? It is. It's where people are hanging out in real time. And sometimes it's not real time, it's asynchronous because we're in different time zones. We're on opposite sides of the world, a lot of us. But you can catch up quickly and we can all be a community, together and care about each other. God, I love that more than anything. And tangentially, when I think about that, like I'm living my dream. I mean, I always wanted to have that bulletin board and I got to have it as a kid. I get to have it now, as an adult. I get to have a better version of it that, I don't have to worry about my disk drives burning out. I used to have these big fans on them because they had to be on 24 hours a day. And these drives they always got too hot. I had this box fan that had to run all the time in my bedroom. My bedroom was a mess because of this stupid thing. But now it runs right off. Worry about that. It's so much better. And yeah, I was thinking about like just when I look about what I have right here, just in this Paige's old bedroom, which is now the podcast studio. Like if I could have seen this as my 12-year-old self, I have two flat screen monitors that are pretty big. I mean, they're very cheap. I got them close out at the computer store that went out of business down the road. But if I could have seen that I have two big flat screen monitors that I'm broadcasting live on YouTube, that anybody in the world can see this video and audio, and that, hopefully we'll be broadcasting live video and audio from a cruise ship here next week, and that I can post this out and it goes anywhere. Like if you'd have told me that as a 12-year-old, it would have blown me away. Like it would have blown me away. Like I am living the dream because I was one of those kids when I was young. I had a little tape recorder because again, my dad was like a musician, right? And he worked in radio eventually. But I would record and I'd pretend like I was the DJ on the radio, like introducing songs onto a cassette. I'd be like, basically like Casey Kasem, right? Up next, we have Mac Davis with Forever in Blue Jeans, baby. Or, Neil Diamond or whatever, because that's what my parents listened to. And now, I never worked in radio because I was a school teacher and then I became a travel agent. But that was kind of the dream to do something like that. And with what we have now, I get to do that, but it's better because I get to have closer relationships with you guys. Like if I was doing that in broadcast radio, you wouldn't have the relationships. Like this is better because we get to hang out at the parks. We get to go on cruises together. Like we are friends. We get to run races together. Sometimes you just got to step back and say, can you believe the dream you're living? Like, I don't know. I'm thankful. I'm thankful. You just got to really, really step back and say, man, think about when you were 10, when you were 12, and now where you are today. Like, would it not shock your 12-year-old self that you're getting to do what you do? Like, I look behind me. This stuff is cool. Like, I have medals from running. Like, when I was 10 or 12, I hated running. I could not run. I almost got cut from the baseball team because I was the slowest person at all levels of tryouts, freshman, sophomore, and varsity. Seriously. I mean, and I'm still not fast, but I never did finish the 2-mile run. I never finished it. Fortunately, they kept me because I was a tall left-handed pitcher somehow, some way. And now for some reason I run. It's life is a journey, man. Life is a journey. But yeah, I think we're very blessed to be where we are. So just take that inventory. I thought about that. And yeah, life's pretty good. I'm sitting down here in my little cave and enjoying what I would have loved to have as a 12-year-old. And now I get to have it right now. It's not like expensive, but it's pretty dang cool. All right. So I'm gonna put this out here for you. Hope you're having a great week, and we'll catch you when I get back from the cruise. And until then, you guys take care of each other, stay safe, stay healthy, and we'll see you real soon.